Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mislav from the other side of the screen. And in this Linux tutorial, we are going to talk about signals in operating systems. And more specifically, we are going to discuss what are signals used for. Okay, so I will just write in signals. Okay, but we are talking about signals in operating systems. Okay. So, what are signals? And before we begin, I just want to say that that signals are very important in regard to operating systems. Okay, so they are relevant for Linux. That's why we are learning them. What are signals? Signals are a way for processes to communicate with one another. Okay, so as we already know, if we have, let's say, process A, and I'll write it as a box like process A, and here I have process B, and basically process A, how it actually looks like in our computer memory is like this. So basically we have some system space, and by the way, system space doesn't necessarily have to be on top of the RAM, like literally look like that, but I always kind of denote it like that. And let's say that A is here, B is here. Okay, so A is here and B is here. And as we already know, A can't access memory from B, and B can't access memory that belongs to A. Okay, so we already know that. However, it is useful for processes to be able to communicate with each other. Okay, so let's say that process A wants to signal something to process B. For example, hey, you should start executing, or hey, you should stop executing, or something else. Okay, so how can they do that? And this is actually an interesting question, because basically process A can't access memory from process B, and process B can't access memory from process A. And so the idea, if you are kind of like paying attention to this tutorial series, and I hope you are, maybe one of your idea would be, okay, we could actually have a variable, because we discussed variables, and then we could have a special variable that, for example, if we set it to some value, then the other process would understand, oh, I should do this, or for example, I should, I don't know, I should stop or I should start. However, if you remember what we talked about just right now, processes can't access each other's memory, and variables are actually a part of the process's memory, as we also discussed. Okay, so this can happen, but what can happen, okay, what can happen is that A, if it wants to communicate with B, it can send a signal. Okay, now this signal can be a lot of things. It can be for example, figuratively speaking, it can be, hey, wake up. You know, if process B is sleeping, it's waiting for something, and then A says, hey, wake up, or hey, stop executing, or like really stop executing right now. That would actually be called killing a process, but we are going to talk about that in the later tutorials. But basically, signals are just this like more general notion of processes can communicate with each other. So let's say that A is doing something, it signals something to B, then B does something, and then it signals back to A again and says, hey, I've done this. And then, for example, we also have some process C, which is, for example, here, and then A sends a signal to C. So basically, maybe this would be the first signal, this would be the second signal, and this would be the third signal. Okay, and this is basically just me kind of making stuff up, but basically just understand that processes, that one of the ways processes can communicate with each other is signals. Okay, and this thing where processes communicate with each other is called inter-process communication, abbreviated as IPC. Okay, IPC means inter-process communication. Okay, so thank you guys for watching this tutorial. This concept is going to be tremendously useful. Okay, we are really going to rely on that when we will be learning about some commands later on, and basically not later on, but immediately after this tutorial. And I hope you paid attention. If you didn't pay attention, rewatch the video. That's always an option. Like if you kind of lost your attention, or if you were on your phone, like texting, you know, being on Facebook, not really paying attention, then you can rewatch the video and actually pay attention. And yeah, definitely recommend this video to other people, because this is actually a very awesome video. It's actually amazing tutorial. Okay, so thank you for watching, subscribe, and I will talk to you very soon.